Do you know where you came from? We're all curious as to our past. Who were our grandparents and our great grandparents and all those who came before us? And this became a curiosity after a movie called Roots, which made the science of genealogy extremely popular, and people began to look at their history, their genealogy, their family trees. And they went and they looked up the histories through censuses and ancient pictures and whatever to trace back their family history as far as they could, at least in recorded history, because they wanted to know what was their DNA and who were these people that made them who they are. Because we are today the result of generations of people who have planted the seed to let our family tree grow. And even though we have a family tree physically and materially, we also have a family tree spiritually. And that has been recorded in the Bible, and that's the genealogy of Jesus. And that genealogy begins when God calls a man called Abraham. And he calls him to be the father of a unique and special chosen people, the Jewish people. And that began the history of our genealogy. And if we read the Bible and see the genealogy of Jesus, we will see lots of people's names. Some we know and some we don't. Some we have no idea of who they are, and some we can't even pronounce their names. But we do know there was a long history of people who were part of our family tree. And from the beginning of Abraham until the time of David, there were 14 generations of people. And from the time of David to the time of the Babylonian captivity, there were an additional 14 generations of people. And from the time of the Babylonian captivity to the time of the birth of Jesus, there was another 14 generations. So there were a lot of people in our family tree. And what does our family tree show us? It shows us the history of our humanity. In our family tree, we have people who are heroes, people who have sacrificed to the point where they gave up their lives for their people. And we have people who were generous and caring and loving. But we also have people who were thieves and prostitutes and people who were of ill repute. We have all kinds of things in our family because our family is a human family. And they all shared in the same human emotions and the same feelings and the same faults and the same temptations that you and I do. But that family teaches us a lesson. It teaches a lesson of fidelity and infidelity. It teaches us a lesson of those who have been committed and those who are willing to give up everything and those who are willing to reject everything for the love of God. And we see this ends in the Bible with the last entry into the genealogy of Jesus, which of course was Jesus. But Jesus began another genealogy, a genealogy known as the mystical body of Christ, where we are all branches of a single vine, and he is the head of that vine. He is our ruler, our leader. And although it's been generations, for 2,000 years now, since the beginning of the new genealogy to today, we have an obligation to present to our future the heritage that we leave. And what kind of heritage are we going to give to our future? Will we leave a heritage that lets them think of us as loving, kind, generous people who have actually made this world better because of the way that we lived and what we saw as our values? Or are we going to be like some of the generations in the past that rejected the goodness, love, and kindness and gave into the temptations of the devil. It's up to us to make sure that our legacy is one of goodness and truth, beauty, and one that shows that we too were willing, like Abraham, to accept the message of God and let our family tree grow. So when you look at your family tree and you look at your place on that branch, what are you leaving to your future?